everybody. It's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore coming at ya.
And we're so glad that you're here. Today we are going to be going over Genesis chapter 2, verse 2, and this is day 33, which has a title as well. I feel like these last few days that we've been going through this, we've had titles to it, and so.
And then the last couple nights, the Lord's been giving me little trailers, little first look sneak previews of what's coming on the next day, even if I don't realize it.
Yeah. And so this one is called An End and a Rest. So
As the title
Yeah, exactly.
says.
So we will get into that in just a minute, but as always, we want to just give a huge thank you to everyone who continues to give and support us in what we're doing. And so a huge thank you to all of you. We appreciate every single one of you. And if you would like to give to us, you can. We have a PayPal link below, and you can just click that.
Yes. We do just pray that you guys are blessed by the Lord through us. You know, our whole heart is just to be a window. You know what I mean? You don't need to look at the window. If you're looking at a window, the window should be see-through. Okay? So hopefully you can see through us to see the Lord. You know what I'm saying? See his heart and what he's saying. You know?
Yeah.
So
all right.
I think we're good.
I guess we'll go ahead and start Genesis chapter 2, verse 2. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the notes.
Because most of the stuff that I really want to say right in that moment is already in here.
So it says, you can end a project and not rest. You can come to the end of anything and not rest. You can end a race and be agitated to go on to the next race. You could
probably stop right there and share some stuff.
Yeah. You can end a game and be agitated to go on to the next. That feeling of go, go, go can be difficult to shake. And the only way to do that is to rest and allow yourself time to shift gears.
That's funny because God just gave me that word about get ready because we're going to go, go, go. You know what I mean? It was just like, I was like, oh, now you're kind of like, there's a go, go, go. But listen to this. Let me put something else on top of it that will give you wisdom on how to transition from the go, go, go to the stop, or from the stop to the go. You know what I mean? So that's really what the Lord's been giving these past couple days with the whole rest in the seventh day thing. It's wisdom. You know?
Yeah.
So that feeling of go, go, go can be difficult to shake, and the only way to do that is to rest and allow yourself time to shift gears. Always comes back to cars with this guy.
Transitions of just about any kind are like this. This is why deep sea workers must go through decompression chambers so their bodies can adjust properly and be prepared for what is coming next.
Is that what it is? It's a decompression chamber?
I think so.
It's not a decomposition chamber?
Well, you know, same thing.
A decomposition chamber?
No. This is what God is after creating... this is what God did after creating all things, setting up a precedent for how we should then live. There are so many little things that take place in rest. For example, from a physical fitness standpoint, you can eat right and exercise all you want. You can work really well. But it is only during sleep that the growth hormone is released into the body, which
allows all the work that you've done to take the proper shape. You can't, because when you work out, you're breaking down the muscle. Well, when you're eating, you're feeding the muscle. But when you're sleeping, it's when all of it gets melded and molded together through this growth hormone that gets released, and it rebuilds the muscle. You know, that's why when you go in to work out, you're breaking down again what was rebuilt, and then it's rebuilding it again with the growth hormones. That's why your muscles keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Because it's like, oh, you need that level of protection? Well, here, let me give you that level of protection. Okay, well, let me give you that level of protection. And you just keep getting bigger and bigger. You know?
Yeah.
So.
And so rest is such an important part of transitioning from one thing to another.
You can't just be go, go, go all the time.
No.
You know?
But something else is hidden on this day, and that is the presence of the double. End and rest.
Mm-hmm.
In Scripture,
that's where I was going to go at the beginning.
It is as common as air to find God speaking about something twice or confirming what he has spoken. There are so many scriptures regarding double and twofold.
Come on, we can think of it, a bunch of them right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like about the twofold recompense and, things like that.
You will be restored double.
I mean, it's just such a common thing that comes from the heart of God,
Mm-hmm. It says, one particular portion of Scripture is highlighted to me today in regards to this grand tour through the garden regarding end and rest.
Come on now.
And that's Genesis 41, 51 through 52.
Do you want me to read, Tom?
Sure.
Okay. And Joseph called the firstborn Manasseh, which means making to forget. For God, said he, Joseph, has made me forget all my toil and hardship and all my father's house. And the second he called Ephraim, to be fruitful, for he said, God has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And God has been speaking to us for a long time, years, about double. Like a long time. This whole journey since 2017. Even this day in the grand tour of the gardens is day 33, and we're reading Genesis 2:2. Just a little spritz of spice there of prophetic numbers there. Also, lately, I have been seeing 9:12 every single day, often day and night, which for us means Zechariah 9:12. Return to the stronghold of security and prosperity, you prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare. I do declare. Michelle read it that way one time. Even today I do declare. It's just been stuck in our family ever since. Anyway, even today do I declare that I will restore double your former prosperity to you. That means you had to have some prosperity before that you gave up, which we've talked about quite a bit on this journey, about just how we've given up everything and just to follow the Lord. And the Lord's like, that's okay. Don't worry. Your reward's going to be amazing. For us, this is a promise of the magnitude, the Zechariah 9:12. It's a promise of the magnitude of the restoration that God will perform during the time of the day, the king time, the manifestation time. Also reminds me of Job. Job was given double.
Yeah.
It says, but if you look at Joseph's sons, he had two. That's kind of a double, right? But you might also, from a parable way of looking at it, call the first son end and the second son rest. Here's why. The first son was a form of new beginning, a restoration that brought an end to all of his suffering and heart. Because it was like the end kind of represents the reward that happens. It's like, wow. It's like he talked about all of his suffering from his father's house and even to Egypt. It's just like, this is just a sign of like, look at this new blossom. It's a baby, but it's like a new blossom of just like, you know what, look at God just made me forget everything I just went through to get to this place. This is amazing, So a new beginning was upon him, Joseph. And when the suffering comes to an end because of a manifestation of a blessing, which is what the birth of children are, it is at that point your heart can truly rest. And so came the second son, which had everything to do with fruitfulness and production. It's hard to go into the next thing when there are lingering heart pains and issues from the last thing. So God's got to bring that to an end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's got to fulfill the desire of the heart. He's got to manifest the blessing and the promise, and that he started you out on a thing. He's got to finish that thing before he launches you out to the new thing. Because when you go out to the new thing, you're going to be thinking about the last thing that didn't get taken care of and all that. Unless he brings you revelation on things. But that if you've moved on to something and it's just like, well, that probably means the big thing that's happening has not come to an end to begin with. You know what I mean? An end to begin with. Anyway. Says, so let me read that again. It's hard to go into the next thing when there are lingering heart pains and issues from the last thing, right? No, the blessing of the Lord makes truly rich, Proverbs 10:22, and he will make sure that you are completely restored in heart before sending you off to the next thing, the new thing. It is from a place of restoration that we can find resolution and an end. And in that place, we can find rest. You know, not like for example, when it comes to relationships, a lot of times it comes to an end, but there is no rest. There is no resolution in it. There's these lingering heart pains, you know, and I've gone through it so many times. It's crazy. But the thing that brings me rest in the lack of resolution with another person and the relationship's not great or it's falling apart or whatever is that the Lord will speak to my heart. Mm-hmm. He will say things like, you've done everything that you could do. There was nothing else you could do. You've done well. When I get that confirmation, that encouragement from the Lord, and he says he approves and he's all right, then that causes my heart to rest. Mm-hmm. Even though maybe the earthly relationship still has lingering, you know, little dangling nerve endings on it. It's like, for me, they've been capped mm-hmm. by the Lord. It's like, I don't have the dangling issues anymore. The other person might, but I don't, because, you know, it's like you can go to the person and present yourself to the person. And like Jesus said, go to your brother. You can go to your brother. You can do everything that the Lord tells you to do. That doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to work out. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean, because it's two people you're dealing with. What if that other person's just not willing to do it God's way? Well, then there's nothing else that you can do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Humility and humility come together, and it creates a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. But if it's humility and pride, well, then you're not going to, you know, light and darkness are not going to fellowship mm-hmm. with one another. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even in those because, you know, we have a lot of relationships in our life. Not just us personally, I'm just saying in life, as you live through life, you develop relationships that kind of maybe will skew, and there's no resolution. And it's particularly how I grew up, relationships just fizzle, and they just stop talking with you, they stop communicating with you, and they just go their separate ways. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, that's messed up, you know, but it's very common. Mm-hmm. And then you can go and try to make it right and do what you think you need to do. But it's just like, the relationship has got to be two people working together. You know, if that's not happening, then you just got to go to the Lord, to that number one relationship, mm-hmm. and be like, all right, Lord, what's your heart on it? And then it's like, it's from that relationship with the Lord that you will get rest. Even if in the earthly plane, the earthly relationship, you don't. Mm-hmm. You know, or there's no resolution. You can still have rest with a lack of resolution. You know, it's in Him we can find that place of rest.
And I think you even see that here with Joseph, because clearly God had not finished what He started, even for Joseph, like with his family mm-hmm. and
yep.
and just he's been going.
You're like the anointed example person. I love it.
So for his heart, there wasn't a total like. It was the Lord that brought him into a place of rest, because, you know, he still, he had no idea about his family or anything like that. But he brought him into this position. He gave him 2 sons. And yep. It was, for him, there was a heart healing that took place.
Yeah.
And then, of course, further on down the line, there just came complete and total heart healing for Joseph, because his entire family came, and he was able to save his family from dying because of the famine. And it was just this, I think for Joseph, it became this moment of just really seeing how all those years, you know, he probably didn't have the full understanding of what was going on with his life and what the Lord was doing. But then it was like there came that moment where it was just like, wow, Lord, you sent me ahead to... It's
like I was born literally for this very purpose.
Yeah.
To do all of this in my mm-hmm. life. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. And so there you see just an even greater depth of the Lord bringing an end to something, but also bringing rest.
Rest, yeah.
But in this moment that we're reading right now, he's still able, his suffering of being in prison wrongfully mm-hmm. ended. but then he was also given the ability to rest in his heart and
Yeah.
to be in a place where he could be fruitful and multiply and, you
Yeah.
know, all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. I like that. That's good. So let's keep going, because I'm just starting to drift off here. It's like, ooh, I want to talk about that. No, stick with the notes. So, and in that place we can find rest, okay? And from a place of rest, there we go, we can launch out into a new beginning, refreshed and ready and excited for what comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Without that restoration, without that in peace, you'll go into the next thing exhausted. And no fruit will come from that because you will collapse in the first mile of the next marathon.
Yeah.
So in the end, God is doing something different than he is doing in the rest. They are two different suns, two different effects, two different purposes, but both are blessings. It's almost like two sides of the same coin,
Mm-hmm.
you know, heads or tails, you know what I mean? But both are blessings, and both are needed to accomplish the fullness of the end of what God is doing in a creation story. If he's recreating a story, if he's restoring your life, it's like he wants to have an end to certain things, but he also wants you to have a rest as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, both of those together are what he's after, you know. One puts an end. It's talking about the sons, you know, the end and the rest. One puts an end, a final capstone to the end of one season or era,
Mm-hmm.
in fullness and overflow of reward that fattens the heart with so much joy you just might pass out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's like that's what the end is designed to do. Just reward you, bless you, honor you, encourage you, lift you up, set you in a place of blessing. It's just like, oh wow, it's like party time, it's
Mm-hmm.
celebration time, it's honor you time. That's
Yeah.
God's version of an end to things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's pronounced blessing over you time, you know what I mean. The other has the exact same effect, but it prepares you for what is coming. It's like ending a long journey with a huge party. That's your end. But in that party room, it is filled with so many gifts that as you open them, your heart is elated. For everything that you open is related to the desire of your heart to fulfill the dream and vision God has given you. It's like it's not time to fulfill the dream and vision right there in the party room. No. Right now, we're just here to honor you. Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
God, the angels, they're there to just be like, no. We want to celebrate you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As a parent, you want to celebrate your kid's birthday. Why would God not want to celebrate you?
Mm-hmm.
He totally wants to celebrate you. He wants to honor you. He wants to give you gifts, you know, especially with those coming through the banquet doors.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, this is for you, to honor you, to bless you, to take care of you, to show you how much we love you and appreciate you. Heaven wants to do that. God, everybody in heaven's like, ooh, yes, this is coming. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. They're going to love it. You know what I mean? That's where that time is. It's not time to go launching off into vision and dream fulfillment and all that stuff. No. Sit here, chill out for a little bit. You know, have a slice of cake. You know? Of course, I can't eat cake right now because of my diet, but whatever. So that's your end. You know what I mean? So in this, we see that the end and the rest are closely related. You know, it's like they're two different things, but it's like they're it's like what the night before God gave me this Ephraim and Manasseh thing, and I'm like, babe, why? Can you look this up for me? Because I don't know why I'm even getting this. And I had no idea that the Lord was going to attach it to this and say that, listen, one blessing, I'm going to give you two blessings. I'm going to birth two major blessings in your life. One is for honor. One is for propelling you forward into the vision that God has for you. And I'm just like, wow, that's just so amazing, you know? And it's like, and so it's like when we see here, if we go back to the scripture, and on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day. So even that, God, he ended it, and then he rested. You know? It's like when he's leaning forward on his knee, looking, he's ended, and then he just rests. He's It's like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think that's really all that we have for you guys today. And just that the heart of God to end, but then to also allow us to just rest. And that's really a place of just being rejuvenated in the Word and really just receiving the fullness of it, you know, and just kind of sitting there. You know, it just makes me think of like Thanksgiving dinner, you know. You know, you eat and
you end it and you're resting.
Yeah, you end and then you rest because you're just like, oh, I'm so full, and you're just, you know, enjoying that moment before you go on and do anything else, you know.
Yeah, God doesn't want us to transition in agitation.
No.
Like waiting, oh, here's the next thing. I need that. I need to feel that stimulation. No. The Lord doesn't want that, you know. He just wants you to walk it out. Be at peace.
Yeah.
You know, go in peace.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's all that we have for you guys today, and we will see you guys again tomorrow for the final day.
Last day.
So until then.
Which will be about rest.
It will. We will see you guys later.
Bye-bye. Bye.